what do you think that, what do you think your biggest frustration is right now in your work and as in the stage of life you're in as a man and as a dad and as a husband?
Mm,
Do you mind me asking you that? Or
no,
struggle or challenge? You can use a different word if you want than frustration.
you're really making me dig deep. um, so I feel yeah, what's my biggest challenge? I think right now, in terms of the business that I'm in, because we made the shift from content marketing as our main gig to performance marketing.
And why
And
don't
those
you
are,
tell us a little bit more? You explained a little bit, but I
yeah,
think that's what people are really looking for when they want marketing is they want to know that the dollars aren't just going out there to create some just brand recognition. They actually want what they're spending money on to actually produce something tangible that's going to move them forward. So talk a little bit more about how you are different in terms of performance marketing versus a lot of it's content marketing or branding, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So you said it. So both of those arms, or let me just call them pillars of marketing, are very important. One cannot exist without the other. But for us, we saw that there's a huge opportunity in performance marketing based on the region that we serve. You know, in Africa, there are a lot of SMEs that have a very tight budget and want to just make a small kill. They're not even looking at changing the world. They just want to break even. And for that to happen, they need a very simple and structured system that can produce a result, a predictable result. Okay. Because that's what gives them peace. Now, on the flip side, a lot of the marketing we understand, which is content marketing, is mostly done with corporations that have big budgets. Why? Because when you run campaigns, you have to first think about those things that you're talking. It's like the softer side of business, right? Now, because we connect with our emotions, right? We don't make uh, purchasing decisions based on just rational. We validate rationally, but we make decisions emotionally. Now, content marketing helps drive that aspect of emotion. It helps, like you said, love well by doing good. That's your tagline. Now, how does that translate into a narrative? When you're running a campaign, it's about giving someone the experience that if you connect with me, it's more than just making a profit. It's about impacting the life of someone. And when someone sees that their human side, which AI cannot take or
Right,
replace,
right,
and
right.
which is very important for us to recognize, is
Mhm.
that when you appeal to that side of the emotions, you get hooked. That's what gives you retention. That's what gives you higher conversion. And so when you're playing by different narratives that speak to the core need of your audience, then they're able to see you as an authority in that space and to purchase your product.
Mhm.
That's what content marketing is about. Now, performance is result driven. It's all about the end result, which is the customer. That's why people are putting marketing dollars, right? They
Mhm.
want the customer.
Mhm.
Now, the biggest frustration is we have to educate our business owners. So, education is expensive
Mhm.
because it can be time consuming. You're almost trying to change the culture, and changing the culture, not necessarily in from a bad point of view into a good place, but more or less making them see the importance of having a system that can track every lead to a conversion. So there will be, some of the comments I get is, Kenji, I've been on social media for 3 years, it doesn't work. I've been posting consistently. I've never gotten a client. I'm I'm not about those vanity metrics. Oh, you show me I have X number of likes. Those things don't pay the bills. And I'm like, I get it. And that's why you need a performance
Mhm.
marketing structure. So that means what we did with you, Sandy, we looked at your brand, we looked at who you are, and we created a narrative based on who you are. But then on the back end, we created an email sequence, we created a CRM, so you can easily track who's interested, where they come from. We nurture them and tell them about things like the what we call the 5 Ps. We give them the promise, we tell them about the problem, we show them the proof of we've done this, we've existed and we've delivered. We give them the plan, the model in which we do it, and then we give a proposal. And so when you nurture them in a sequential way, chances are at the end they're like, I trust them. So something within them makes the decision to trust you. So that is not easy. Getting a business owner to think about the system first.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that has been our biggest frustration. So that means I have to jump online. I have to do a couple of videos. I have to meet with business owners and tell them, no, do not boost a post, run an ad,
Yes, yes,
because
yes.
those are two different things. Yeah, so that's just, yeah, some of the challenges.
Kenji, what's an SME for people out there who don't know what that means?
Or small and medium-sized businesses.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, most people will, but maybe some are asking that question. And so our world is filled with acronyms and we get really used to them, right? Like, you know that in Crankset in the 3 to 5 club, we have a million of them and the government has a million and schools have a million, and businesses have a million. So
True.
it's always good to find. So, and I love your passion behind this because I know that you love helping people. So, what would you, what would you call your love well by doing good in the world right now in the stage of life you're in? How are you doing that?
Yeah. Oh man. Um it feels like I'm just beginning to learn and understand what it means. I've been on a discovery journey, and thanks to you, Sandy. Sandy, I must say you have been such a huge blessing in on this entrepreneurial journey. There's some things you've mentioned to me that have unlocked pieces of, that have first brought some blocks together and pieced them, and now they make sense. And I'll say one of the things is that the work we do at Bawa, because it's a for-profit company, we do it with excellence and we deliver results so that we are able to support men. And now this is exactly what I do with the container. And should I say shameless plug?
Yes,
uh,
please. Yeah,
yes,
I
yes,
want you
yes.
to talk about, I want you to talk about it so people can go listen to it and
Yeah.
yeah, so to support that and then, keep going and then let's go back and talk about like how did that come about? But go ahead and tell us what that is and why
Yeah.
you care about it so much.
Correct, correct. So the container podcast is, it's a space where we have real rugged and raw conversations about man and masculinity, and for us we say we are stewarding godly masculinity, because when we say stewards, we are only a vessel. Like, we are imperfect, but we help show you who the perfect model of masculinity is, who's Christ. Now, the reason we do it is because, as I mentioned, it came from a place of wounding. And I'm like, if I can heal and I've walked that journey of healing, I'm like, how many men out there can heal? But they also say it's, the gospel is free, but it takes money to push out the gospel. And so it's the same thing that this work that men have to do, this soul work, and it's the gym for the soul. Let me say,
Good. Yeah, that's
it,
good. Yeah,
it's
it
where
is.
we work out that soul muscle
Ouch,
to
ouch,
ensure that
ouch,
we're healthy men.
ouch, 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 ouch.
Yeah. Wow. Doing inner work is not easy. It's not easy. It can be a very painful process, but the results are extraordinary. Totally worth it. So the work we do at Bawa is to ensure that we can support men through this program called the Crucible Project. Um, and we support them also through churches. So we try and give our time, our solution to this nonprofit, or let me call them para ministries that are supporting men's work. We're very clear about it because it's the only way we can help men heal one at a time, because you can't mass produce disciples. So all we can do is take a man, take two, walk them through the program, support a church that does it, improve their communications, and that's how our love well by doing good. So we channel um, our time, our treasure, our resources um, into those spaces, those para ministries. Yeah.
What, how did you come up with the idea of the container? Like, I know you'd thought about a podcast for a while. Was that the original thought around the subject of the podcast, or was there going to be different kind of talk about that journey? How'd you get to that?
That so in our soul group. So soul group is it's this is the band of brothers we meet every week just to run through a couple of tools that help us build our awareness and just live as safe men. So inside those soul groups, um, we have this word, and we use it around the crucible community. It's called a container. So a container, if you look at it, is it's it's this vessel that can contain things in it and can keep things warm, can keep things fresh, can keep things clean, and once they're sealed well, right? So that's why you're told don't break the seal of a container, or else
Hmm.
things go bad.
Hmm.
So that's how we look at the container. It's a safe space that can hold the pressure and the weight of what men are going through, right? Now, every man, every person, but now I'm addressing mostly men. Every man needs that space. It really it has so many benefits, and it's almost like free free therapy. Because yeah, you just meet with the right tools, and you can express your emotions and heal in different ways, and I found it so beneficial. And so I was like, okay, if I've gone through this and it has worked for me, how can I create a model that I can get many other people to experience what I experienced? So yeah.
Um, you, what was the question I wanted to ask you? I'm distracted because my cute puppy that you've met is out there. That some of you know at 70, I decided I wanted a Belgian Malinois. Teaching me about
That's a high energy
leadership.
dog.
Yes, leadership and consistency, and how to divert aggression. I mean, not really aggression, just can look like that, but he's just a lot of fun and a lot of energy. Teaching, I think I've mentioned before, my trainer friend who is amazing with dogs, who I interviewed on the podcast, said, Sandy, you don't get the dog you want, you get the dog you need.
You need,
It's kind of like
right?
you get the friend you don't necessarily want, you get the friend you need, or the husband you need, or the kid you need, or whatever.
Spot
But
on.
I wanted to ask you, when you talk about men doing work together or people doing work together, what's one of the biggest benefits that you've experience for you in that? Like you're creating this podcast and you're inviting these other men, and so you're stewarding this and leading and serving. But what has it done for you?
Um, Many things. So one thing I'm very aware about is you can never do enough work. For as long as we're on this earth in this earthly suit, we will forever need to do our inner work.
And
And
that can sound kind of depressing until you get in it and then you realize it's exciting
absolutely,
because it's so because you
absolutely.
get freedom. Like the work brings you freedom, right?
You know, there's some terms that we loosely just mention, but they're so weighty, like making choices. You know, the when you're self-aware, you don't understand this gift of free will, this gift that we've been given to make choices can really shape your destiny, one choice at a time.
Mm-hmm,
Now, for me, when I stay close to this work, when I keep doing it, I feel like I just make the right choices
mm-hmm,
for myself
mm-hmm,
because I'm more self-aware, and also I become what we call a safe man. Because
mm-hmm,
I look at it as we are men carrying this blade, let me so to speak, right? And this blade can be used surgically to do great work, but also it can be used destructively. And so, depending on the way you use this tool, it can shape the outcome. So, I look at our choices as that. And so, I've learned to own my choices. I've also learned to get back my power. We really give out our power a lot, and this could be based on um, some of our our internal conversations, the dialogues that we have with ourselves. And they could be totally flawed. They could be misaligned. They could be just lies that we've believed about ourselves. And so for me, when I get to spot that, I can easily make choices that give me back my power. And I live more authentically and more purposeful as a man out here. So those are some of the benefits. And also, I just love to see other men discover that. Remember, I mentioned what my mission is? It's to help men discover and connect with their inner genius. Everyone has an inner genius, and until they feel fully alive. So when I see someone getting that aha moment, when that light bulb comes on, I'm just like, that is it. It just like it adds it adds what do the Gen Z's call them? Uh aura something.
oh, an aura ring in your
Anyway,
head.
let me play my age. Let me not go into another
Yeah.
generation.
All right.
Yeah, but it really gives you a lot of credits, and gives you a lot more meaning to life.
Mm-hmm. I was having dinner with someone this last week, and I often when I am, with people, like when you and I are together, or when I'm at dinner with somebody, or like I try and do this all the time, but sometimes I get like so busy with my to-dos, I'm not as aware as I could be. But I was at dinner with this new friend, and we talked for a long time. And all through dinner, I just kept asking the question, what does she need to hear?
Mm,
Like I listened to what she was saying, but then I was also asking the question, what does she need to hear? Like, what gift can I bring her? Like, what insight or what am I sensing? That's how I kind of experience that is like, I mean, I am a person who I want to be, and you are too, like, is in tune with what God's saying about situations, whether it's me or a situation or a person, because it's always good and it's always it's always going to be for the good, even if it's a hard thing we're delivering, in a loving way. That wasn't the case. I just felt like here's a woman she had 8 children.
Wow.
She was in an abusive relationship that she finally, after many, many years, had the courage and the right decision to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And loves God deeply and is a wonderful person in her job and in her life, contributes a lot to others. But I think about, I have a husband and I have children and I'm not alone. I mean, I was a single mom, so I have a heart for knowing how hard that is and what that's like, and what a burden, like what a privilege it is to have kids, but what a burden is to do it all by yourself.
Mm.
And so I just shared some things at the end with her. I mean, one of the things is I just said, I just feel God is delighted in you. Like he delights in who you are. That word that just kept coming to me. And she got teary. And I just, said some other things. And she said, why is it that we can think that way about ourselves and we can know that, but when someone else says it to us,
Mm.
and puts a voice to it and put words to it, like how touching it is, like how much we realize we're dry and we need that refreshment, we need the drink of another person to like
Yeah.
give us. And I think of that when you talk about the container and what you're doing for each other, because sometimes the reason I'm talking about this, Kenji, is because sometimes I think we can hear about like the work is really hard and the work is really painful and they have these wounds, and all that's true. And it's also being in a relationship where we get to see one another and we get to speak all this good stuff about, we get to remind one another, right? Like
That's
the
true.
brilliance, the genius, the beauty, the sensitivity, the uniqueness, the skills, the talents. We get to put voice to that, which then kind of brings that back up in that person, reminds them again, yes, this is who I are. This is who I am. It's not just I'm all this other stuff I got to work through. Yeah, but it's this. It's the
Yeah.
goal, right? And we often can, spend time in these kind of soul work groups, just even all drawing that out, all telling one another what the gold we see in one another. And like the world does not do that on a regular basis. We tend to like
Absolutely.
point out all the things that we need to get better at. Like
Yeah.
on social media last night, like I don't know, I got up at 3 in the morning. It was just a 3 in the morning time. I spent about an hour just reading some stuff and reading my Bible and praying. And then I was just also on social media. And I just was struck again with most of social media is telling me all the things I lack, like all the things I need. I need ketones and I need this face cream and I need this workout and I need these clothes and I need these friends and I need.
Thanks to people like us.
Yes, and I mean, like, I enjoy life, so I enjoy looking at those things, and I'm curious about them, and I don't typically feel bad about myself. I mean, I've just decided I'm not going to feel bad about myself because there's always going to be something I need that's better that somebody tells me. But it is really interesting to think about that, and then think about what you're talking about with the soul groups that we're a part of, as well as the work that you're doing with the container, and see how different it is. It's not coming from a place of like, you're never going to be good enough, so you need all these things. It's more like, no, you are good enough. And in fact, we want to help you work through the pain of the things that hold you back from being able to see that and
Yeah.
experience that and be free and be able to live your life fully and in a wonderful way that you can have joy and abundance and in the midst of all the trials that we have. So, I was just thinking about that as you've been talking about that, how lonely we are as people. Men don't
Correct.
typically do that with each other. They pat each other on the back and in sports and, do the hug thing,
Yeah.
and women, when you talk about safe people, like women don't feel safe. I mean, I hear women say all the time, like, I never ever wanted to be in a women's group because women have been the most hurtful of anybody in my whole life. And so, in what you're doing, in what I'm doing, with the work of Women in the Crucible, we're creating safe places where we can become safe people.
I love that. And I feel that is my life's mission. If I can deliver a container for every man, I think I've done my life's work here. Why? Because it's an experience every man needs to have. It brings out the best part of you. And as you're saying, and it's one of those things, unless you experience, you will not understand. When another man gives life to another man, blesses you deep down from a soul and a heart level, it hits different. And you cannot be the same again. And I feel that's the reason we are all put not to exist as an island, to coexist with one another, to give life to one another. It's just that now living in this urban, uh, let me say, modernized society, we are very individualistic and we've lost the aspect of community and what community can give and how we can live off each other. Even us as Africans, one of our biggest gift is community.
Hmm.
And that's the one thing everyone, once they visit any African country, and mostly Kenya, we're very friendly individuals. We are hospitable. And yes, our country is beautiful. You come for a safari and all that. But the people are even more beautiful. The people understand really truly what humanity is about, connection. So you feel like you connect with the people and you barely know them. You might have just met them that day, but you feel like you have a deeper connection. And I feel social media has literally, it's robbing off, it's 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 taking that layer out of us as humans. And yes, like now, Sandy, we're doing this virtually. Of course, the convenience of this, it has its perks, but at the same time, it's never like being in a room with one another and just feeling each other's energy across the room. That's a whole other level of connection. So why I still advocate for communities everywhere for everyone is so that it brings out the best that you can be. So every person needs a container. Every person needs that safe space,
Hmm.
that they can connect and hold space for one another as humans. Yeah,
Even though, and I mean, that's why I've been so attracted to want to come there my whole life, and I'm gonna get there. I just keep saying that. I just have to figure out how to make this happen so I can quit
you
saying it.
will. It's coming.
I think that part of it is Tom's afraid I won't come home. He says, I feel like if you go there, you might not come home. Well, you just have to come with me. But I sense that, I've always sensed that, about your country. Even with that, though, you talk about some of the disconnect between men, right? Or women. Even though you have this community aspect, there still seems to be this common dilemma all over the whole world of we have to work at the personal connection with people on a
Correct.
soul level, right? So even though we might be really friendly and hospitable and, you know, and come together, there's still that deeper level that you're talking about around where I take my mask off to let you
Mhm.
know who I really am. And so is that, I don't want to just assume, is that true there as well? That there's still, not everybody's just taking it off and just being totally real, but that takes work in Kenya too?
It does. I mean, it's not a regional challenge. It's a human need. The way I look at it is, even as we're saying it's a safe space, it's, let me put it this way, it's a controlled space,
Hmm.
meaning there's risk everywhere. We cannot eliminate risk even in the container. The only difference is that it's controlled, where even when you're doing your work, it might hurt. Just like if you go anywhere, you might fall and get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
However, there's medication. There's people that can care for you, can hold you, because part of healing is also stripping off the layers, the masks. That is what gives you better connection with what internally your wounding is. And so that space is, it's forged by the men or the women. You have to live by certain rules so that someone feels it's safe enough for them to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not guaranteed that you will not feel discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
There's still discomfort in doing the work.
Right.
Yeah.
And when we're all doing it, like we're not there to fix each other. We're there to support one another as we work through to find our own voice, power, solutions, healing, whatever it is. There's, it's a level playing field because we all do
Correct.
stuff. I like what you said before too about your parents or your dad, because I think that that's one of the biggest benefits of this work that's come for me, is to look and go, my parents really did the best. They loved us. They did the best job with the knowledge, the experience, the tools, their filters that they knew how to do. It was a very different culture of, you didn't go to, I mean, my parents, you didn't go to a therapist. Like something was really wrong with you if you had to go get
Yeah.
therapy or a counselor, like you needed to be in an institution. It was not a encouraged thing. Thank goodness that there's so much more awareness to mental health being important, as important as anything else. I was on a seminar yesterday with women in big corporations, and thank goodness corporations are talking about mental health and well-being as one of the most important aspects of leadership. Like you would have never heard that when I was in corporate America. I would not have heard that way. It was like, you suck it up,
Mhm.
you do your job, you don't let anybody really know what's going on.
Mhm.
You have your business life and your personal life. And what I believe about that is you have one.
One
And
life.
if personal's going south, it's affecting business, and if business is going south, it's affecting personal, and so they're integrated. And so I do think that we all still have a level of that stuff in our lives, no matter how perfect childhood or life or whatever was. There's still stuff where we can, I think, do the work, and then I see people turn around. This has happened for me, and I see it with others. We turn around, we have compassion for the people
Mm.
that raised us or were in our lives, in a different way. Even in terrible situations, we can be angry about that. We can know that that was unjust, and then we can also have a compassion, because the anger or unforgiveness ends up hurting me. Like if I'm holding on to that towards my parents who aren't even here anymore,
Yeah.
it's not affecting them. It's
Yeah.
affecting me. It's affecting my relationship with myself, my husband, my friends, my kids. And so, if I want to have the best relationship with myself and other people, to do the work, which, like you said, you're never going to not do it. If you're human, we're always going to be
That's true.
doing it. And we get to do it together, and there's still too much separation. I agree with you that social media has done that. Since you're in the digital space, I want
Yeah.
to talk about AI with you,
Yay.
because I love it. I love the tool of it.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm too naive and I don't worry about, but I tend not to be a worrier about stuff I can't control. And I tend to be kind of a Pollyanna, is in, it's all going to work out. Like, it's all going to work out. Like, as human beings, nothing will ever replace us. I just believe that firmly. That's part of
Mhm.
my faith too.
Mhm.